All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. Whoops, cannot minimize. Okay. Um, I guess I'll just leave that there. I tried to go live again. You probably saw that, but the StreamYard is not allowing me to share the screen, which I need to do in order to do it. I suppose I could just do a live where you just stare at me while I talk, but that's not what I wanted to do. I uh I want to I want to make over the past 3 or 4 videos, I've told you I had 3 dates that we're looking at. We're looking at May 1st because it's a mirror reflection to the flood on October the 31st. We were looking at May 1st because it was the second Passover on the timeline. And so it passed. It's gone past. So my next, and I told you several videos ago that we were looking at 3 dates: May 1st, May 15th, or 14th, and then May 30th. And of course, the 14th is because that's when Israel turned 77. And all the work that Aaron over at Gadaman has done on the 77s is astounding, just to say the least. And we say that um, God is going to tell us we're not giving up on the pre-tribulational rapture. It's not going to happen. We're not giving up on it, not until the Antichrist has been revealed. And then we say, well, I guess we missed something. However, I don't see how we could have missed anything. We didn't see any horsemen riding in the sky. We haven't seen all these horrible things happening. Yeah, we've seen the judgment of Satan on us, coming at us in every which way he possibly can, God allowing it, just like he did with Job. But we haven't seen the wrath of God yet. And that begins at the first seal, which we're standing in heaven when that first seal is open. And that can only happen if the rapture occurs prior to that. So we are of the mindset that the rapture is going to occur, obviously, before the any seals are open. There's a great multitude, a huge group. They're churchgoers, they're good people, they pray, they do all this stuff, but they're counting on their works. We know who they are. They outnumber us 100 to 1. They don't look forward to the rapture. They are just content with everything that's going on here currently. They don't see the things that we see. They don't see all the earthquakes that are taking off. They don't see all of the wars and rumors of wars that are going on. As a matter of fact, the only thing that in Luke that we're waiting to see is the waves and the seas roaring. But Amos 3:7 is pretty clear. I'm not going to tell you the rapture date. I'm going to give you high watch days. I'm going to say, hey, this could be it. This could happen now. But ultimately, Amos 3:7 will be fulfilled by God, and it will be told to all of us in a fashion to which each one of our pieces of the puzzle will be able to see and understand. And I think a lot of people are getting that. I mean, as far as the season, we're in it. We know we are. The day and the hour is impossible to know because the day and the hour changes everywhere around the globe. I could tell you a day and an hour right now here. It won't be the same day and hour in Australia. It'll be a different day and hour. But could God have told us from the very beginning, absolutely from the very beginning, that, when Israel becomes a nation, that's it, that's your rapture date, and then we just had to get to this point 77 years past Israel becoming a nation to be at it. I'm going to give a few screenshots as to numerically why May 14th makes a lot of sense, and then May 30th also makes a lot of sense. But we go to the next rapture date or the next high watch date and look at it and see if that's it. So let's get into the pictures, which I can't do live for some reason. I have no idea why StreamYard's. I dumped everything. I deleted it all, dumped everything, re-downloaded it, had to use a different email, and it still won't work. It won't. It did initially. I didn't change anything. It just stopped allowing me to share images. So let's share the screen. Let me move me up and out of the way. All right. And Hold on a second. I forgot to do something. Let me fix something real quick. I can't minimize. Okay. Trying to minimize my screen. There we go. Let me get this out of the way. Let me minimize that. I forgot to do something before I came on here. Right. Sorry about this. Just take a second. Uh, Sorry, this thing's making me do all kinds of authentication stuff. Now, Brett over at God's Land Down Under did offer me to use his StreamYard. I just don't know. I'm not very tech savvy, and I really don't know how to do that. Just use his because I'd like to obviously be on my YouTube when I do this, but he has offered to help. All right. Let's see. I'll start here, I guess. Let's do this, and enlarge a little bit there. I don't need that tab. Where am I at? Ah, here I am. Okay, hold on. Let me enlarge this. Let me share again. Share. And let me move me up and out of the way. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. Where are we at right now? As you know, I built this timeline years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Sister Sandy, also years ago, put it onto a format to make it more easily understood. I haven't changed the timeline since I started it. I didn't go from sliver moon to full moon. I didn't go from, you know, uh, this date or that. I didn't change anything. Nothing's ever changed since I started the YouTube. The head of the year has always been March 17th. Lazarus always dies on March 16th. That's the anniversary, not always, but that's the anniversary of his death. Everything starts when Lazarus dies. That's when everything starts. So that's when we started counting. There's been clues throughout the Bible as to when things happened. The creation, let me go back to it again. Oh, I went the wrong way. Right here. Let me enlarge this. Creation began on September the 11th of 4004, but as you know, prior to the flood, September the 15th is Tishri 1. So therefore, while it is 4004, the year actually changed over on September the 15th, becoming 4003 BC. We go forward. Jesus came here exactly 4,000 years after creation. It's not 3976 and all that. They're trying to make up for this 33 and a half years. This 33 and a half years is the time Jesus spent here. He wasn't here. He wasn't 36 at the cross. He wasn't 31 at the cross. He was 33 and a half to the day when he went to the cross. He was born on September the 30th, 33 years and 6 months later, he went to the cross. I've been working on Lazarus. Someone in my Discord pointed out, and I'm going to show it to you here in a moment, a passage that he says that Jesus was baptized in 29 AD. And in the last video, I discussed this. He was not baptized in 29 AD, but the Bible's very specific. God came to John the Baptist and told him to do something. The Bible does not tell us what he told John to do. And by the end of that passage, John is dead. His head's been cut off. He's in prison and he's dead. Then the very next passage says, and he baptized Jesus. It's not in order. In 29 AD is when John the Baptist died. Jesus died in 30 AD. John the Baptist lived 33 and a half years to the day. Jesus lived 33 and a half years to the day. So when we see the very next passage, and I'll show this to you, we have to study things to see the outcome or what the meaning of it is. In that one passage, it almost appears as though, as God tells John the Baptist to go baptize Jesus, but that's not what he said. We assumed that because the very next passages and John the Baptist baptized Jesus. No, that's when John the Baptist he was doing it for 6 months. Then Jesus shows up. That's when the Holy Spirit sets down on Jesus, and that's what everybody sees, and they're like, "Oh, I want some of that. That's cool." That's where he became popular, and he baptized for 3.5 years. He began baptizing when he was about 30 years old. John the Baptist was born when Jesus, on the crucifixion date, he was born on March 30th. 33 and a half years later, John the Baptist would have died on September the 30th, 6 months prior to Jesus going to the cross. So Jesus would have been 33. John the Baptist would have been 33 and a half. As we know, he's 6 months older than Jesus. 6 months later, Jesus would have given up the ghost on the cross on March 30th. Now, things that we can't change, we might want to change them because by virtue of simple math, 32 AD. So he must have gone to the cross in 32 AD. And the answer, and the reason they're saying that is because Jesus has to come after, a day is like 1,000 years, 1,000 years like a day. He has to come after 2 days. But if you read the passage closer, it says, and after 2 days, and in the third day, meaning it's at some point after the 2,000 years. In fact, I found something that shows that it's like 2,000 years, 2 years, and 2 months to when I think the Jews are done with tribulation. I think the Jews are done with tribulation here on May 14th in 2032. I have the date down here. I think their time is cut short. I think that on May 14th, 23, I think May 14th has been in our face the entire time. What's the one date? The absolute only date on the timeline. People will argue the date of the flood wasn't on Halloween. It was on November the 11th because of this, and the sliver moon and the full moon. I'll have an argument. No, it was October 31st because the year starts on March 17th. I'll tell you that I think several of these big doctorate people who've studied this their whole lives are misunderstanding the equinox. We'll go through all this stuff, and some people will just fully accept that these dates land every single year on a different calendar date, which is ridiculous. Your birthday's the same every year. It doesn't move around with the moon, and neither do these events. These events are solid. They're as solid as God. They happen on a specific date. But what's the one date that never can change? The one that irritates most people and some people actually love, but the date that everybody knows, that's May 14th. You can't change May 14th. Oh, you can say, do you know why the Jews celebrated their, how do you call their 77th year on May 3rd? It's because it's IR 5 to them. In 1948, May 14th was the 5th of IR. So they have two celebrations. They will celebrate the 5th of IR whenever it happens. And this year it happened to happen on May 3rd. And they will celebrate the 5th of IR differently every year. And every 19 years, the 5th of IR will land on May 14th in whatever given year that it actually lands, because that's how the calendars line up. They line up every 19 years. So, but what's the one date And that's what got me to really, and like I said, I presented 3 dates in the previous 3 or 4 videos: May 1st, May 14th, and May 30th. And so May 1st passed, so now we're looking at May 14th. So I start doing math. I start doing similitudes. I start checking to see if it's an 11/11 event, if it matches back and forth to different things. And surprisingly, May 14th came up with a lot of stuff. And so I want to present that to you now, and I want to remind you, for those of you who have seen YouTube channels that have said, I no longer believe in a pre-tribulational rapture, you can't do that. And the reason you can't do that is because you have to have evidence. If you believed in a thing, I want to give you encouragement. If you believed in a thing because of stuff you found in the Bible, if you never believed in the pre-tribulational rapture, that's fine. I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to people who have promoted the idea of a pre-tribulational rapture and then somehow, with no evidence whatsoever, walked away from it. They were never a part of the group. They were never a part of the bride. I keep getting these comments, and this is the hardest subject in the world to talk about. Do people that are not looking forward to going to heaven, do not believe in a pre-tribulational rapture, go to heaven? And I don't want to answer that definitively, but I do want to say this. If you are a pre-tribulational rapture believer, that means you've been studying, you've been searching, you've drawn closer to God. None of us have had the right dates. That's not what it's about. It is about getting into the Bible and studying it. If somebody has a different way of looking at a calendar, there is no way on earth I could say, you're right, I'm wrong, you're not going into pre-tribulational rapture. That's ridiculous. Nobody should ever say such a thing. But the fun of it is that each of us presents our case. And each of us, and I'm talking about everybody so far, has been wrong. The date has not, we have not been raptured yet. But one thing you cannot do, if you are a bride, a pre-tribulational rapture believer, once saved, always saved believer, the one thing you can't do, unless you are not saved, is to say, I no longer believe in that. That means you never did. You didn't have your heart in it. You have no evidence to turn your back on it. If we saw the Antichrist show himself, if we saw the sun go dark and the moon not give her light, if we saw, we're not talking about an eclipse. Everybody's going back in time looking for an eclipse that happened. There's no such eclipse that happened for 3 hours. It didn't happen. God blew the sun out like a candle. The sun was off for 3 hours and he relit it. God is all powerful. He spoke the universe into existence. Our little tiny star amongst trillions and trillions of other stars, he snuffed it out like a candle. And then he relit it. You are not going to find a eclipse event. And the next thing that kind of drives me nuts is people say, well, if this year it's on a Wednesday, if we look back to you can't do the math. I don't care how smart you are. There is no way to do the math because the Gregorian calendar is a patch fix to the Julian calendar. The Julian calendar was wrong in and of itself, created by Julius Caesar. It was also wrong. Started the year January 1st. Who starts the year in the middle? Then some guy comes along in 525 AD and decides, well, let's create BC and AD. And he got it wrong. I know they got it wrong. I know they got it wrong because when you start counting here, this should be year 0. Then 1, 2, 3, 4,000 years later, Jesus should have been born. If it's 4,003, we have Jesus being born over here. Where's it at? Right. We have Jesus being born right here in 3 BC because it's exactly 4,000 years. But because of his miscalculation, we're off by 3 years. Jesus should have been born right here. And let me define here. Let me show it to you better. Let me define, if you don't count this way, you are making a 0 year. If you count from 1 to 9 and it's 10 years, if you don't have 9 years counting 10, one year, 2 years, right here, there's two. You've created a 0 year. I'm not telling you, people are like, I didn't create a 0 year. There's no 0 year. When you don't count 1 BC and 1 AD in the same box, you created a 0 year. There's nobody on planet Earth that adds a zero box here and says, this is zero. We're going to count it. That's not how it's counted. This, excuse me, this is how it's counted. There's 4 years, 4 years, and in the center, it's 2 years. This is the same year. If you didn't count it that way, you inadvertently added a 0 year. Now, because of that 0 year right here, the sun's really shining in here. It's so bright. Because of that 0 year, the way we count it is this. I can't see because of the sun. Oh, there we go. Oh no, my bar thingy's on it. All right. So there it goes. 27 AD is when Jesus began the ministry, 5 days before his birthday, on September the 24th, the date of the Revelation 12 sign. But it was actually 26 AD. But because of that 0 year that everybody inadvertently adds in, and they'll tell you, I didn't put in a 0 year, I just counted 1 BC, 180. That's a 0 year. That's how you create it, by not stacking them on top of each other. When you're counting to the end, you're also beginning to count your beginning. The same way you count the Jubilee cycle. It's not every 50 years, it's every 49. It appears to be 50, but the reason it's not is because you're using the 50th year on top of the first Shemitah cycle. So at any rate, Jesus was not baptized in 29 AD. Jesus was baptized in 26 AD. Jesus' ministry lasted 3.5 years, period, bar none. Can't change it. It's not moving, not movable. If it doesn't fit your timeline, then your timeline's wrong. We don't move Jesus. We move the timeline. We fix the timeline. From our perspective now, and for example, it's 2025 right now, but it's not. It's actually 2024. But because of that 0 year, to us, it appears to be 2025. When you do the math for the Jubilee cycle, it's actually 2024. But when you do the math, accounting from 4003 BC, you wind up at 2025. This is a Jubilee year. Absolutely, without question, it's a Jubilee year. So what we will see if we're looking back, if you're trying to find something somewhere, what happened on March 30th and 31 AD in Stellarium, you have to go to 31 AD. But you're not in 31 AD, you're in 30 AD. Just remember that as you do your work on that stuff. All right. I showed you this. Jesus went to the cross on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's such simple math. 4 days is 4 days. Anything less than 4 days is 3 days. 3 days and 23 hours is still 3 days. Jesus goes to the cross at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. 1, 2, 3, and he rises before the sun comes up here. He has time here from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. He's got 3 hours. He's got time here. He's got 9 hours. He was in the grave for 84 hours. If we say Sunday at 3 p.m., this is 4 days right here. When it goes from 3 p.m. on Wednesday to 3 p.m. on Sunday, it's 4 days. But it was less than that. It was back here. It was back here at 3 o'clock in the morning when Jesus rose. And it was 84 hours. Just like we see, as a matter of fact, I believe that I think that John the Baptist was in jail for 84 hours before his head was cut off. I think that the two witnesses, the Bible actually tells us, they were dead, lying in the street for 3.5 days. That's 84 hours. I think that Jonah was in the belly of the whale for a total of 84 hours. Either that or he spent 3 hours getting on the boat and getting thrown off. Then he was in the belly of the whale for 72. Then he was spit on the shore at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think Jonah was there 84 hours. And we see that from the math that we've used with Jacob was renamed Israel on purpose. And as a matter of fact, if you'll read in the Bible, sometimes after God changes his name, Jacob will be called Jacob sometimes, and Jacob will be called Israel sometimes. At 77 years old, Jacob fled his brother. He took the birthright from his brother. We are about to take the birthright from Israel. We are going to flee. The marriage doesn't happen for another 7 years when Jacob is 84 years old. That's when he marries Leah. 1 week later, 7 days, give her 7 days. 1 week later, 7 days later, he marries Rachel. We know he marries Rachel 7 days later because we know Rachel's barren. They are not having premarital anything going on back then. He had to do the ceremony to marry Rachel, which is why I say, and I've always said, or when it dawned on me a few years ago, I don't think the tribulation saints are going to be here for 3.5 years. I can't find a single verse that tells me that they'll be here for 3.5 years. Oh, I know that the two witnesses and the 144,000 will be here for 3.5 years, but I can't find the tribulation saints by seal 6 being here for 3.5 years. All right. Now, let me quickly show you this. I'm giving you a bunch of numbers, information, and I know, and again, it doesn't matter. There's one thing you cannot deny. Nobody on planet Earth, the Muslims hate it. The Jews love it. A lot of United States does not like the Jews or don't like the Jews. They're attacking them in New York. Do you have any idea what is going to happen? I don't care how bad that Jewish person is. Remove the plank out of your own eye before you take the sliver out of theirs. I don't care how bad they are. Do you know how much trouble that person in New York that harmed that Jewish person is going to have when they get into heaven to face God? May 14th, right here. I have it down. I don't have any calculations from it or to it. It never made any sense to me. And I asked, God, why May 14th? What is May 14th? It makes no sense. Now, May 14th is actually IR 29. It is not the 5th of IR, but it was the 5th of IR in 1948. But the 5th of IR this year landed on May the 3rd, which is why everybody's like, why are they celebrating? They're just trying to get a head start. No, it was the 5th of IR. That's why they celebrated it on May 3rd. You will always see, always, this calendar is 2 months and 15 days off. 75? Yeah. 2 months and 15 days off from the Enochian calendar. So if it says May 30th, it's Sivan 15. It's 2 months and 15 days apart, 75 days apart, right here. This is where you start the year on March 17th. You come down. May 30th is 75 days. Yes, May 30th is a high watch day for me. It's Ascension Day. I think I found a mistake that I made. I've studied it, and I see that I might have inadvertently added 7 days in here. It might be 373. If I added 7 days, then this slides back, and Shavuot will actually be on May 23rd, but I'm going to study that out. And when I figure it out, I'm going to make a timeline for both the time Jesus was here is accurate. This is accurate. That's what gets me. That's what's confusing me. And Shavuot or Ascension Day must happen before Pentecost. Jesus says, I've got to go so I can send you the Comforter. We know Jesus goes before Pentecost. It has to, because the Holy Ghost comes at Pentecost and Jesus is already ascended. He says, go wait here, because in a little while, not 50 days later, who's going to sit in an upper room for 50 days waiting on the Holy Ghost? 120 of them. Can you imagine 120 of them in an upper room waiting for 50 days? No, they waited. What I had calculated was 7 days. But if I have misunderstood any part of this, I know these dates are correct. but I don't know when the wave sheaf offering happened. If the wave sheaf offering happened 7 days earlier on the day Jesus rose, again, I'm going to study it out, but I got 7 days earlier. That makes Pentecost move back 7 days as well. And then I've got these 3 days. So it might be that Jesus ascended, and 3 days later is when Pentecost happened. I don't know. That's a study I've got to get into. That's next. All right. I don't need anything on that timeline. This time I can't hardly see the screen. The sun's like blinding me. All right. I told you May 14th, 2032. Looks like that's the end of tribulation for the Jews. And so let's go here. I showed you this. This is Jubilee. This is Jubilee. They are 49 years apart. From the end of this Jubilee to the beginning of this Jubilee, it's 49 years. So that's why we count 49. This is where it starts. What I never understood this verse. None of us really have. And it says, say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh the harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look the fields, for they are white already to harvest. Something's happening 4 months later. Something's happening right now. We must match up something from right now to 4 months later. And so can't see me at all because of the sun, I guess. Sorry about all that. See, my grandson was in here and he thought it would be really cool to ride his bike out of the secret broadcast cave, and he caught the curtain or the screen that I have up behind me to stop the sun from coming in, and tore it in half, said sorry, drove off like nothing. And I'm sitting here burning up because the sun's shining on the back of my head. All right. Grandkids, 9 years old. Oh, sorry. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. He's inside in the AC right now, and I'm out here burning up because, you know. All right. So this passage right here means that, I wonder why it's not, oh, it's not seeing me because of the sun on the screen. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work at all. I have to hold my hand up there. Let me see if I can't really do that. I just hold my hand up here for a minute. It's like setting, so it should be on the other side of the house here pretty soon. Anyway, 4 months, right? That means something happens now, and it must match something 4 months from now. May 14th matches to the Feast of Trumpets, which always happens on September the 15th. Never changes. It's always September the 15th. The Day of Atonement is always September the 24th. The Revelation 12 sign happened on September the 24th. And it will be 8 years as of September the 24th in the year, which is when I think that the Antichrist reveals himself. And I think that's the last point in which the tribulation saints will be here. I think they're going to be out of here by then. I showed you that before. Let me go back a couple here. Let me zoom in on this. All right. So, like I said before, seals are going to happen. We are inching ever so much further closer to September the 16th, which is trumpets. There is a massive group of people that says, we're not going until the last trumpet. You might be right. You might not be going until the last trumpet, but we are going to go before that, because at this last trump is when all hell is going to break loose. This is when the tribulation begins. Tribulation actually begins with the seals. They are judgments of God. But they, if you'll notice when you're looking at them, they are earthly things that no, I think I talked to Spinebreaker, and I think he said the first four seals are man-made, and then the fifth one is something that God did. I think that's what he said. I have to go back and look at it, but you see here, we're inching ever so much closer to September the 16th, and what do we have right here? May the 14th. May the 14th is 4 months prior to September the 16th. September the 15th is actually, I got the wrong date on here, but September the 15th. That's when man was created on September the 6th, and we were just trying to be symmetrical. And she put September the 16th. It's actually September the 15th is the first day of the year in the prior to the flood. All right, so May 14th. This leaves us exactly 4 months. Say ye not, there are yet 4 months. Look up, I say the harvest is ready already. I think the tribulation saints will go home by September the 15th. I think that the Antichrist will be revealed very shortly after we go and take power, very much shortly after the tribulation saints go home. Here's the calculation. May 14th, May 15th being the first day to September the 14th, 4 months. Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets is on September the 14th at sunset, being September the 15th. It's 4 months. And Israel will turn 77 years old or be 77 years old on May the 15th. Remember, on May the 14th of 1948, Israel was made a nation at midnight in New York. It was already 7 hours ahead of that in Israel at 7 a.m. when the announcement came out. It was May 15th, 7 a.m. in Israel when the announcement came out that they are a nation. Because it was at midnight in New York when on the 14th, 2 minutes before it turned to 15th. All right. This was the discussion I was having with you a few moments ago. Sorry about my picture, but I can't hold my arm up there anymore. I'm old and it hurts my shoulders. All right. This is how we know for a fact that Jesus was baptized in the year 26 AD. Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea, Herod being tetrarch of Galilee, and his brother Philip, tetrarch of Iturea, the region. Oh my goodness, you're going to have all these names in here now. And being high priest, the word of God came unto John, the son of Zacharias, in the wilderness. And he came into the country about Jordan, preaching the baptism of repentance and remission of sin. This is 29 AD. What did God tell him to do? Is this where John the Baptist began baptizing and baptized Jesus? The answer is no. As it is written in the book of the words of Isaiah, the prophet, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be brought low. We assume that this word came to John and that he was to begin baptizing, but the answer is no. We can see further down what he was told to do in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, and that was, whose fan is in hand, and lightly purge the floor, and weed in the ground, and many other things of his vocation preached he unto the people. But Herod, the tetrarch, being reproved by him, he was reproved. John the Baptist told him what a royal piece of garbage he is for doing what he did, by him for Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, and for all the evils which Herod had done, added yet this above all, and he shut up John in prison. Remember, the outcome of that was John lost his head, and I think he was in prison for 84 hours and had his head cut off. And what did God tell him to do in the 15th year? Remember, Tiberius Caesar began reigning in 14 AD. In his 15th year, it would have been 29 AD. What did God tell him? Did God tell him, go baptize Jesus? But the problem is the outcome here is that John was shut up in prison and had his head chopped off. And the very next verse we see, this is 20, this is 21. Now, when all the people were baptized, it came to pass that Jesus also being baptized and praying, the heaven was open. When did this happen? It didn't happen in 29 AD. John lost his head. It happened 3 years earlier. Jesus was baptized 3 years earlier, and the reason John the Baptist became so popular is because everybody saw what happened when Jesus was baptized. They wanted some of that. They saw the Holy Ghost set down. They heard the voice of God saying, "This is my son." And they wanted some of that. That's what made John so popular. That's why John is told by God, "Here, I'm done with you. Go tell Herod, what a piece of junk he is." And in 29 AD, he was shut up in prison and lost his head. This is not the year that Jesus was baptized. Jesus was baptized in 26 AD. Jesus was 30 years old, about 30 years old, when he began his ministry. He was baptized 40 days prior to that on August the 15th. He went out to be tempted of the devil for 40 days. On September the 24th, the Day of Atonement, Jesus began his ministry 40 days later after fasting and being tempted of the devil. Then, 5 days before his birthday, which happens on September the 30th, he began his ministry. It was 20, uh, let me think. Yes, it was 26 AD when that happened, when John the Baptist baptized him. And 3 years later, when John the Baptist was told by God to go tell Herod, God knew exactly what was going to happen, but God, his purpose was done. His purpose had served for 3.5 years after he baptized Jesus. For 3.5 years, he baptized people. He was known as John the Baptist. He was around the entire time Jesus ran his ministry. But Jesus was baptized in 26 AD. Definitely didn't get baptized after John the Baptist lost his head in prison. Definitely didn't happen after. All right, let's keep going. Again, in Luke, what are we looking for? We are the Luke group. We are the bride of Christ. We are not looking for the same things that the tribulation saints are looking for. We're not looking for the same things that the Jews are looking for. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. We have seen the Revelation 12 sign. That's what lit up most of the people that are here listening. I would say 99% of you are pre-trib and so looking forward to this. And there's nothing on this earth that you want. And you've placed your entire faith in the blood of Jesus and nothing of your works. I would say 99% of you are already that way. You know that there's nothing you can do to gain salvation. There's nothing you can do to lose salvation. The concept that I keep seeing people saying is you can lose your salvation if you do bad. That's ridiculous. It never had anything to do with you in the first place. Salvation, let me repeat that. Salvation had nothing to do with you in the first place. Jesus did this to gain a people for himself. Ooh, the sun's going down. Oh, I hope it's not just a cloud. I hope it's actually going behind the house. All right. So, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the sea and the waves roaring. That's what we're waiting for. This is your rapture. Oh, it wasn't. It's coming back up. Didn't go behind the house. Oh, it's got so far to go. It's so hot. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth. This is the rapture right here in 25. Luke 21:25 is the rapture. Luke 21:26, man's heart failing them for fear after looking after those things that come upon the earth. These are those people. Look, do you think there's a single Muslim? Well, yeah, there's Muslims. I'm not saying that. They're no longer Muslims. They became Christians. What I'm saying is, do you think there's any Buddhists looking forward? Hold on. I got to get a drink. Do you think there's any Buddhists looking forward to Jesus' return? No. Do you think there's any atheists or Muslims or even Catholics? Do you think there's any Catholics looking forward to the return of Jesus? No. None of them are looking forward to the return of Jesus. And so the only ones that are us. We're a small group of people. And like I've said 100 times, you all have a piece of the puzzle. You are very important. If you're here, not on my channel per se, but if you're doing math and or watching all of these channels going, oh, I couldn't do that kind of math, but I did wake up to a knock on the door. I did wake up to a trumpet blast. I do see these numbers. Everybody has an awareness that they didn't have before that is affecting all of us. Dreams and visions, you name it, what's going on. I don't discount anybody's gift. I think that's a travesty to do that. So what we're looking for is the waves and seas roaring. Waves and seas roaring. All right, let's go on to the next one. The return of the Son of Man. This is in Mark. What are they looking for? They are telling us we are going to be here during the tribulation. Now, I get this question quite a bit, and I really don't know how to answer you because I really don't know the answer. But I will say it like this. If you're chomping at the bit, nothing on this planet excites you, and you just want to go home, I'm pretty sure you're a bride. But I'm not going to say that for 100% certain. I'm not God. I don't know. If you're saying we're all going through the tribulation, there is no rapture, could some of you be the bride? And the answer is possibly. I don't know. I don't want to answer that definitively because I don't know. But this is what happens to the Mark group. But in those days, after that tribulation, after the rapture, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars, this is not a 3-hour event. Go back. I can't concentrate. Oh, grandsons, they're the greatest. 9-year-old grandsons. All right, but in those days, after that rapture, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. So this is what they're going to see. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with power and great glory. They're also going to see Jesus coming in the clouds. But what happens? And then shall he send his angels. You're not meeting him in the air. He's coming to grab your souls. You have died. You're here on earth. You have died. If you're here after the rapture, you don't go to heaven alive. You have died. You will be changed. The angel at that point will grab you up and take you to heaven in your new body. And when you get there, we will be waiting for you with palm branches. You will have washed your robe white. You will be a servant in heaven. Better to be a servant in heaven than a king in the lake of fire, I always say. And then shall he send his angels and shall gather. That word gather, that is not the word rapture, that is the word gather together. We see that in Second Thessalonians. First Thessalonians is caught up. Second Thessalonians is gather. It's different. Second Thessalonians is not speaking to the bride. It is speaking to the tribulation saint. First Thessalonians is speaking to the bride. And then shall he send his angels and gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth and the uttermost part of heaven. The very second, and I've had this question as well. What qualifies you to be a tribulation saint? You didn't trust fully in Jesus. What about all the people who have died prior to this point right here? And they didn't fully trust in Jesus. Well, we have a problem. Because if I make a video saying, yes, there will be saved people that go into the tribulation, everybody gets upset over that because everybody who's saved, we know, goes up in a pre-tribulational rapture. There has to be some terminology to separate them. One, two, I wouldn't ever be able to tell you which one you are. Wouldn't be able to do that. But if we say that, well, if you didn't go into pre-tribulational rapture, you were never saved. Well, what about all the people that died that were in Jesus? They're going to be raised, right? What about all the people who came to realize during the tribulation that Jesus is the only way? All my works is burned up. It's worth nothing. They're going to heaven too. It's a very difficult discussion to have. And my mind, honestly, I wrap my mind around it and I can't definitively say either way. I even held a video asking the question, had some Had a lot of backlash from it because people don't want to tackle that question. We should tackle that question. I would say that they are unsaved. That's kind of the stance that I took, honestly, was that they're unsaved because every saved person goes in the rapture, right? Every saved person does. But that they became saved after the rapture occurred. But then I get the same question. But what about the people who went to church, donated the money, did all these things, thought that did they not get the same opportunity as the tribulation saints? That is a question, quite frankly, for We Are the Overcomers, Wayne over there, We Are the Overcomers. He has probably ironed this out. He's separated it, and he knows the line. I don't know the line. I don't know where to draw that line. So I will leave that up to Wayne. We Are the Overcomer. I will leave that up to him and his explanation of that. Much better than me. The Jews. Matthew is the Jews. This we don't see this in Mark. Mark is not concerned with the Antichrist. Why is Mark not concerned with the Antichrist? Because Mark, the tribulation saints, are going to see the Antichrist come to power, but he is not going to affect them in any way. Now, they might, the Bible says it, they will die for the word of God. It's not that they died because they refused to take the mark. That's not for them. The people who are left are all of the atheists, the people who will not ever believe. Jesus could stand right in front of them at any second and they won't believe at all. These are the people who will willfully and wantfully walk up and take the mark of the beast. These are those that the Bible says that in the last day will raise them up and take them to the white throne judgment, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting damnation. They will have received the mark. There will be those that hide out and will not take that mark. They won't take it. And so there's yet one more chance. They're going to die. They're going to lose their heads. They won't take that mark because they came to faith after the bride was gone. They came to faith after seal 6. They came to faith during those 7 years of tribulation. But we see one stark contrast in Matthew than we do in Mark and Luke, and that is, wherefore, if they say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. This is telling them that the Antichrist is coming, and if he has to say, oh, I'm over here in the desert, come here, you don't go because that's the Antichrist. You just don't go. All right. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. Luke 12. And again, Wayne does a much better job of this than I do. In my mind, I know how this goes, but I don't know how to articulate it to you because there are good arguments. I mean, really good arguments on both sides. Well, every saved person goes in a pre-tribulational rapture, right? Okay. If you make that statement, then what about those who come to Christ during the those who came with their works were left behind, tribulation saints, but they cast off all their works and accepted Christ alone during the tribulation. Great, that makes sense. What about all the people who died over the last 2,000 years with their works who don't get that same opportunity? What about them? Is there a cutoff point perhaps for them where it says, all right, they had works, they loved me, they did church, they did all this stuff, they were like the rich guy, he kind of wanted to follow me, but he wouldn't sell his goods. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where to draw the line, but let's read Luke. Let's just read the Bible and see what the Bible has to say, right? We have to believe in the Bible more than anything I say. We have to believe in the Bible. Matthew 12:35 is where I begin. And this is be ready for service. This is speaking to the bride. Did I say Matthew? Luke 12. Sorry about that. Luke 12 and 35. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning. No, none of the 10 virgins, 5 with oil and 5 with no oil, none of them are the bride. When Jesus comes back to get the 5 with oil, he is called the bridegroom. He already has his bride. He is not there to pick up the bride. All 10 of those guys fell asleep. None of them, if I've heard people say, oh, we all fall asleep. No, we don't. The bride does not fall asleep. The bride is awake and waiting for his master to come back. The people who were in church, laid back, sleeping in slumber, confident that they're saved because of they have all their works, those are the bride with oil. None of the 10 have anything to do with the bride. And yourselves be like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, that ye may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants. Who is that speaking to? That is speaking to the tribulation saint. We're not servants. We rule and reign with Christ. We are kings with Christ, kings and queens, the females, whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Does the Bible state anywhere that the tribulation saint should begin watching? And the answer is yes. The Bible specifically tells us that the tribulation saint are also must begin to watch, and they will. They will. The second we're gone, you think we did math? You wait until we go. Uh, Again, the outnumber is 101. Your YouTube has, I think mine has 24,000 subscribers. It's going to go up 100-fold after the rapture. That's why you have a YouTube channel and you start dumping your information. You're narcissistic. That's insane. This information that you've worked on for all these years is very good for the tribulation saint. Dumping it indicates that you don't believe anything you said. I have never dumped a video, not one video in the past, however long it's been, 4 or 5 years. I've never dumped a single video. And the reason is because this information, they'll get a hold of it and say, oh, well, he was wrong here, but he was right about this. Oh, look at this, look at that. And just the amount of information that we have, and they're going to have a lot of time on their hands. They aren't going to be working. They're going to be scrambling for food, but they're going to be sitting around and they're going to be reading. Let's see here. Blessed are those servants, tribulation saints, whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find them watching. Verily I say unto you that he shall gird himself and make him to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. I thought this passage was speaking to the bride. I've even told you that Jesus comes around with a waiter's outfit, and he has the towel over his arm. Can I help you, sir? What would you like? No, we're going to be serving the saints. We're going to be looking so forward to the rest of the body showing up. We're going to be falling all over ourselves, asking God, when are they coming? When are they coming? They are your friends. They're your family. They're your aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, mothers, fathers. They're brothers, sisters. They're everybody to you. They're everyone that you've been waiting for. They're people that you've been warning, that you love dearly. You love them dearly. You've been warning them dearly, and they are not interested in any of this stuff whatsoever. They're the mockers and the scoffers currently who will become on fire for Christ after the rapture occurs. These are the people that we will be looking forward to them showing up. It's going to be quite the day in seal 6. It's going to be quite a day. And if he shall come in the second watch or in the third watch, find them. Blessed are those servants. These are servants. We are not servants. Again, and this know, if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched. We are watching. They are not watching. They are mocking. They think you're insane. You can tell. I talk to Catholics, say, hey, guess what? What's the rapture? There's none of this being taught to them. And if it's not being taught to them in the Catholic Church, they don't want to hear it. They're told, no, there's lies everywhere out there. If you want information, don't even read the Bible for yourself because you're not capable of understanding it. Just come here and we'll read out of the Bible and we'll tell you. And they probably read the same 7 verses every day. I don't know. I haven't been to a Catholic church since I was a kid. I don't know. All I remember is the argument I had with several people over what I knew to be true. And I was a kid. I was like 9. And they were like, yeah, you can get divorced and remarried after. I don't know. Is that the same thing right now in the Catholic Church? Can you get divorced and get remarried in 10 years and that be okay? Because that's not written in the. Now we do, don't get me wrong, we're not under the law. So yeah, we get divorced and remarried, but God didn't put a 10-year time limit on it. I knew that. And that's what I told him. What gives you the right to change the word of God? The word of God doesn't say 10 years. It says never. You get divorced, you can't remarry. Well, that would be ridiculous. It's not about it being ridiculous. It's about it being the law, a law that we don't have to keep. But when you set up brand new laws, 10 years, when you set up a brand new law and say, yeah, that one we can keep. That law, we'll tweak it and change it to a law that we now can keep. 10 years and you can get remarried. I don't even understand the. I mean, they have to keep changing the laws because if not, they'd lose all the people giving them money. All right, and this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken through. But be ye therefore ready, also for the Son of Man cometh in an hour when ye think not. None of this is speaking to the bride. This is speaking to the tribulation saint. If they had been watching their house, we're part of the body with them. They're going to heaven. They're going to, just like Elijah and Elisha, they're going to cast off everything. They're going up there. Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us or even to all? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward? Hold on, let me enlarge it. There we go. Whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household. Now we're speaking of the bride. The bride is the steward. The bride is the ruler over the household. Did you know, man, when we get there, you have no idea. You have no idea. You are going to be, what do they call it? How do they call that when they turn you into a sheriff? Deputized. You've been deputized. I almost want to say you could do no wrong. I almost want to say you spent a lifetime on this planet going through it. And I'm talking about going through it. And so when you're presented with an issue, I don't know about you, but I'm going through it. We're all going through it. No, the kidney stone hasn't passed yet. It's still stuck there. It hurts. But I'm okay because my next rapture date is just 10 days away. I'm okay. I'm going to make it to that one. But then the next one's only, you see what I'm saying? That's how we are. That's how we are. I don't know why we're that way. Yeah, I've heard all the stories. They're heartbreaking. I have a hard time reading them. I'm losing this. I have this problem. I have that problem. And I'm just in my head thinking that we're being put through this because we're going to be we're going to be rulers and we can do no wrong. You simply aren't going to make a mistake. Jesus, should I do this or this? No, you're a ruler. Jesus would be like, I don't know. Go do it. I mean, you're a ruler. He's going to want you to step up. And how do you know you're not a brand new creature when you get to heaven? Yeah, you have a new body, but your mind is still there. Yes, all of the sins that you committed and all the things that you stress over and 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 work on in your mind all the time and humiliated and I have to revisit that when I get to heaven and say, no, it's all cleaned up. Remember, I showed you the cloak is covering all those sins. You are no longer a sinner. You're covered. It's done. The only thing God can see now is Jesus covering you. Can't see all those things. They will never be brought up. They will be cast out as far as east is from the west. It'll be completely cast out. So I'll give them in their due season. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find doing so. We're back to the tribulation saints. Servants are tribulation saints. Servants are not the bride. The bride is a steward. The bride is a ruler over God's household. Of a truth I say unto you that he will make him ruler. Now it's going to contradict what I just said. That servant whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find doing so. I've got to believe that this is speaking back here to the steward. And of a truth, just like that story I read you there. Where was that at? Is that Luke about the? I forget where it was, but yeah, it was in Luke. It was out of order. It was in order. He dies in this one. The very next one, he's baptizing Jesus. It's not in order. You have to know how to put things in order. And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth, there's a servant again. See what I'm saying? This has to be speaking up here to the steward. The servant is the tribulation. Blessed is the servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find doing so. Watching. Of a truth I say unto you that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. And if that servant say in his heart, it's almost like it's all to me what I'm seeing. It's almost like they're both saved. One of them is going pre-trib, and one of them is going after the sixth seal, or in the sixth seal. And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, I don't say that. I see the next date and I'm all in on it. I do math. I try to figure it out and I try to explain why that's a high watch day. And I've been doing it for years and I will probably continue to do it. Not probably, I will, because I can't seem to stop doing it. I see the next date and I start doing math from them and I think, I can't figure this out, and shall begin to beat the maidservants and men servants and maidens, and eat and drink and be drunken, and the Lord of that servant will come in a day. I guess he's categorized us all together. All of us are categorized together in this verse. You have the tribulation saint and you have the bride. The differentiation between the two is that the bride is watching. The tribulation saint has given up. He's turned his back. He's began beating the men servants and maidens. He's began to eat and drink and be drunken. That Lord's not coming. There's no pre-tribulational rapture. On what basis do you say such a terrible thing? God promised a pre-tribulational rapture. He promised to carry us out of here, that we suffer not these things, that we escape all these things. He promised us that he would do that. And until the Antichrist is revealed, how do you give up on that notion? You logically can't give up on that notion. And the Lord of that sort. So we see, that's what I'm confused about. We see the word servant used in relationship to the bride, and we see the word servant used in relationship to those who are left behind. And what does he do if you do these things? If you eat, drink, and be drunk, and beat the men servants and maidens, and the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Who are these people? They were watching. They were into this. They wanted the rapture to occur. Wayne, help me out here. You got to help me out here. It almost appears from what I'm reading that these people are of our group. They're the same group, but there's something that changes about them. They give up. They give up. My Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and eat and drink and be drunken. They gave up. Don't they sound like a tribulational saint? Well, they are a tribulation saint because they are appointed him his portion with the unbelief. We have you listen. Do you have any idea how shameful that is? That you worship Jesus your whole life. You donated money. You went to church every Wednesday and Sunday. You never curse. You drive. You don't get road rage. Don't be in front of me. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? You're just the perfect ideal Christian. You're just perfect in every way. And you're going to be left here because what I read here, this is what I read. I didn't write this. God wrote this. What I read here is you will be appointed his portion with the unbelievers. You're going to be left here with the atheists, with the Muslims, with the all the other Catholics, all the other religions that are not watching or looking or even know who Jesus is. All because of what? Because you decided not to watch anymore, because you decided up here in your heart that the Lord delayeth. The Lord didn't delay. Nothing changed. The rapture date was set in stone before he created the universe. There's an exact, and like I said, there's a song out that Sister Sandy, I think, just did, or it wasn't Sister Sandy, it was Bree over at I'm going to forget. I'm sorry about that. I'm terrible about that. Who is that? Heavens something? Watch me not be able to find it now. She just made another song. So cool. I love her songs. They're a great work. And there's another one doing them as well. Bay, I think she's doing some as well. Um, it's awesome because they kind of poke fun at us. But it's okay because can't laugh at yourself. I can't find her. It's heaven something. Maybe somebody could put it in the comment section. Yeah, I can't find it. Sorry about that. I know it's heaven something. I'm the word. Oh, Heaven's Echoes by Looking Up. There it is. Found it. Heaven's Echoes by Looking Up. She did a video, and then Bay, I don't remember hers. But anyway, if somebody puts that in the comment section, that'd be great. All right, so my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and eat and drink, and be drunken. He gave up. This person, Wayne, help me out. You got to help me out with this. Was this person saved? Did this person trust fully in the blood of Christ? Or was this person unsaved and give lip service and appear to be a pre-tribulational rapture bride, but in essence actually was not? That's where the line gets fuzzy for me. I don't know which way to go. I personally want to say if you're saved, you're always saved. You're going in a pre-tribulational rapture. I want to say that, but I see verses like this that kind of contradict that, that says this person was saved. It's calling both of us a servant. It's calling the bride a servant, and it's calling tribulation saint a servant. Both of them are being called servants. And God will appoint. How shameful is that? You should have been watching. Why weren't you watching? If you had just been watching, you wouldn't have been appointed a portion with the unbelievers. That's what gets me. I don't know which way to go. Tune in to Wayne at We Are the Overcomers. I'm sure he will respond to this. Now, when it comes to the Jew, this is the third seal. By the time we get to the third seal, we see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. The Jew is the oil and the wine. The bride is the barley, and the tribulation saint is the wheat. The oil and the wine goes through a press. The Jew doesn't actually go. Yes, they go into tribulation for 7 years. They are going to be here during those 7 years. But Israel is actually going to be supernaturally protected. The rest of the world but getting hammered, but not Israel. They're actually going to grow to be a world power. So much more so than the rest of the world. At that time, they will be in charge. But here at the very beginning, in the seals, before trumpets, before anything, here in the third seal, don't hurt the oil and the wine. This is speaking of the Jew. All right, let's keep going here. Now I noticed this. I never noticed this before. I'm not sure why. A woman's pregnancy is 9 months, right? Wrong. It's 40 weeks. But something happens when you look at both of them. If we say 9 months, August 15th is the day Jesus was baptized. Forgot the D. Just pretend there's a D there. Jesus was baptized on August the 15th. Israel, 9 months later, it'll be May 15th. Found that interesting. We're going to start getting into a little bit of math, and then I probably talk too much as I usually do because I really want your help. I really do want your help. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So many of you out there are very smart. As far as the calendar is concerned, yes, I got that down. I'm not verse by verse picking apart and studying what this word means and that word means. That's for somebody else's piece of the puzzle. And I listen to them because I want to hear that stuff. I want to learn that stuff, but it's not my 48. It's not my strength. This is my strength. Timelines. Oh, I know the first of the year is March 17th. You couldn't convince me otherwise. If it wasn't, then the Revelation 12 sign wouldn't have happened on the Day of Atonement. The flood wouldn't have happened on October the 31st. Jesus wouldn't have been conceived on December the 25th. I start the year there and I just count it out and everything just falls in perfect place. That's where it all belongs. All right, August 15th, that's the day Jesus was baptized. And 40 weeks later, May 22nd. I've been talking with Kevin. Remember, I said I had to work something out about those 7 days. it might be May 22nd, May 23rd, because of those 7 days. That might be Ascension Day. I'm going to go back and study that. I will make another video. I'm going to make out a timeline to see exactly where everything lands. Um, it doesn't affect the timeline to find anything like that out. It wouldn't even affect my timeline if, in fact, Jesus was baptized in 29 AD, but he wasn't. He was baptized in 26 in September. Sorry, August 15th of 26 AD. And the verse that they brought me to prove me wrong was the verse that I use now the strongest because it proves me right. That word that came to Lazarus, no, John the Baptist, was to go tell Herod. It wasn't to go baptize Jesus. I noticed something here. From December the 25th, if you use 9 months, see, that kind of makes me wonder. Let me see something here. 40 weeks. Yeah, that bugs me. That bugs me because if you use 9 months, we find out that that's wrong. We find out that's wrong here because December the 25th plus 9 months is September the 25th, which is Day of Atonement. But if you use 40 weeks, it's actually his birthday, which is September the 30th. September the 30th, October the 1st. He was conceived the night of December the 24th, Christmas Eve. And then on December the 25th was his first day of conception. 40 weeks, 280 days would have been September the 30th, October the 1st. This one's accurate. This is actually accurate. But 9 months would be inaccurate for this calculation. So if I find an inaccuracy to something I know that is true, December the 25th to Day of Atonement is not accurate. This is the day that Jesus was started his ministry. This is the Revelation 12 sign, a day earlier, but the Revelation 12 sign. So therefore, 40 weeks is accurate, and that's what got me to thinking maybe I am off by 7 days. It doesn't change the calendar at all. It just moves Ascension Day back 7 days, and it moves Pentecost back 7 days. I don't know. I got to work on that. I'm going to build. I have to build a timeline for Leviticus to work out Pentecost and build a timeline out of the New Testament to build exactly when Jesus was here and see if they overlay. Jesus has to leave prior to Pentecost. There is no other way. And it almost now looks like it's 3 days later that Pentecost happens. But I have to go back and restudy that, do that math. All right. Yeah, 9 months. That just 9 months doesn't work. It's 40 weeks. That's the one that works. 40 weeks. All right. At midnight. Oh, I wanted to show you. Israel actually became a nation in New York. Not at this on that same date, the United States. It happened in New York. This is when President Truman recognized provisional Jewish government de facto. He did this on May 14th at midnight. It was 7 a.m. on May 15th in Israel. So we say May 14th, but it was actually May 15th. All right. Now I did some more math. What is this math? 1 year, 7 months, and 8 days. Oh, I was thinking it would be very interesting to see how long it was from the date Israel was attacked at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning on October the 7th, which on my timeline says Shemini Atzeret. And in this year, their calendar, their sliver moon calendar actually matched. This was Shemini Atzeret's for the Hebrew calendar as well. And so May 14th, 2025 was 586 days. Does anybody know anything about these numbers, if they make any sense at all? These are real world events that we don't have to tie them to. This is Gregorian dates. This happened October 7th. That's a fact. Israel will actually turn 77 on May 14th at midnight, May 15th. That would be 586 or 587 days. I don't know if those numbers mean anything to anybody. It's 1 year, 7 months, and 8 days, or 1 year, 7 months, and 9 days. If that means anything to anybody, if we go to, I think it's May 15th, we should probably be using anyway. Over here, I did some fun math. From the date that Lazarus died, when all this started, all this began on the day Lazarus died. Remember, Lazarus dies. Jesus sits still for 2 days. He walks for 2 days. He raises Lazarus on March the 20th. He has a meal with Lazarus 4 days later on March the 24th. 6 days later, after that meal with Lazarus, he's on the cross. He gives up the ghost. It all begins right here on March 16th, the day that is like in Enoch 72:20. It says on the day equalized. That's the day there's 12 hours in the day and 12 hours a night. Again, simply doesn't happen on the equinox. So March 16th, we go forward. And again, these numbers, I don't know if they mean anything to anybody, but I found this 222 in sequence with March 16th of 30 AD. And I just went forward 2,000 years, 2 years, and 2 months, and it lands on May 15th of 2032. I think that's when the tribulation for the Jews, now the tribulation period is 7 years. It's cut short, or otherwise no flesh will be saved. It's cut short for the Jews. Okay. The tribulation period is the period of grace is not cut short. It goes its full term. The period of time that the seal 6 happens, it goes full term. But the people this is speaking to the Jew. The tribulation will last 7 years. It'll continue on, but God will protect the Jews. There'll come a point where God's like, that's enough. Jews are protected. Everybody else, you're in trouble. But I found it really interesting from the day that Lazarus died in 30 AD. I got stuff going on everywhere in here. Hold on. Ah, pumps, air compressors, everything else going off in the secret broadcast cave. All right, so I found it very interesting. It was 2,000 years, 2 years, and 2 months. Pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool that that came out that way. Again, anybody wants to do anything with those numbers, I don't know. Did you see this? The 5th of Iyar, Israel celebrates their 77th birthday because they have to do it twice. They have to do it on their calendar, which is the 5th of Iyar, and they have to do it on the Gregorian calendar, which is May 14th. But on the Gregorian calendar, May 3rd was the 5th of Iyar. Again, remember I said they have to be 15 days apart. They can't be 2 days apart. But the 5th of Iyar, they celebrate. That's why they celebrate on May the 3rd. I saw a lot of comments. Why are they doing it on May the 3rd? Oh, it's because of their new. No, it's because it's the 5th of Iyar. That's why they did it. But did you see this? On the day they celebrated, the biggest earthquake, I don't have it here, but a 7.4 hit. This is South America. This is on the south tip of South America. Look at all that happened. Is there any question that, and I said this to Spinebreaker, I'm like, with all those earthquakes, this is from God. Satan can't make this type of stuff happen. Wouldn't it be just like Satan to cover it up with another story, something else going on? I think that 90% of the wars and the threats, and it's going to be nuclear, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, is just Satan trying to cover up what God is about to do. He's getting things set up to where you don't know which way to turn. You're looking at all this. I would suggest that we do two things. We look at what's going on with the planet because God's in control of that. The earthquakes, Satan's not making earthquakes. And we look at what's going on in Israel. I know that bad things are going on in Pakistan and India and Ukraine and Russia and Israel. Now, Israel and Iran, that's something we're to look at. And all of these things are happening to bring something or some big thing to happen here shortly. But I think we're supposed to look mostly at what's going on in Israel and what's going on our planet. There you go. That's what I wanted to show you. That's what I was talking about. They think the 5th of Iyar is May 3rd. Of course, they are wrong. They are wrong. The 5th of Iyar is not May the 3rd. It was in 1948, but this year it's on May 3rd, and that's why they celebrated it. And I think that's why all that happened. So anyway, I've taken up plenty of your time. I just wanted to show you May 14th is a high watch day. No one on planet Earth will argue that May 14th is the day Israel became a nation. Many will say it was 49, it was 50, it was 51. The whole world knows it's May 14th, 1948. Other things happened, true, but a nation was built in a day on May 14th, 1948. And I think that it's a very high watch day. It's a very high watch day. And here's the thing: when these high watch days get like, when they get like May 1st, when it got to April 27th, 28th, and nothing super major happened, nothing to alert me to say, hey, this is it, it's coming now. When that came, I said, I don't think it's going to happen on the first now. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see anything, seeing anything indicating to me that this is it. So the same thing I'm going to say about May 14th, 15th. If it's a 7 day warning, something huge will happen and it's not going to be one of these wars, and God's holding that back. The restrainer's holding all that stuff back right now. That big stuff can't happen while we're here. Some things will happen, but the big stuff isn't going to happen. But no, something just like that. Israel says, "Oh, we're a nation now for 77 years," and all those earthquakes go off. That's kind of that's kind of big. Satan can't make earthquakes go off. And so the same thing, when we get closer to May the 14th, by May the 7th, I think, what is the date? It's May the 4th. So in a couple of days, I think we might see something big go down. Uh, at the very least, it'll be 3 days before. So if we don't see anything that says, remember Amos 3:7, and I say that all the time. I am not going to be the person to tell you the date. I am not that prideful to think that I'm the one out of 8 billion people that figured it out, because I'm not. He is going to tell us. I need a drink. My throat's scratchy. I've probably been on, how long have I been on here? It's been 8 days, so I had a lot of catching up to do. I'm going to go study that other thing out and tell you exactly what I see as far as when Ascension Day is and when Pentecost is. And so, at any rate, that Amos 3:7 is going to be fulfilled. God is going to tell us all, it might be Damascus. Is there a single one of you out there that if you saw, how about the guy that just said, nope, I don't believe in a pre-tribulational rapture anymore? Why? I just don't. Well, what evidence do you have that it's not? Oh, I don't have any. I just decided not to believe. You got to have something. You got to have something. It's like the comments in the comment section. No, the rapture this day, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a sliver moon. Well, do you have any biblical evidence to back that up? I have biblical evidence to back up what I'm saying. you know, the same thing. You got to have something tangible. If you're hanging on to something and you've taught it for a very long time and then you changed your mind, that's all you did was change your mind. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen because you have no evidence that it's not going to happen. How did you give up on that? And that's my question to Wayne. Wayne, how did that happen? You know, I don't understand how that happened. Now, I do know he's a works based. I do know that for a fact. He will tell you if you're divorced, you're not going to heaven. He'll tell you that if you're doing this and this and this, you're not going to heaven. So I always knew that he was work based. I've always subscribed because I don't care if you're work based. I feel like this information is very important to them. And again, it's a bit narcissistic for me to think that I should delete this stuff because if the Holy Spirit gave it to me, it's not mine to delete. It's not mine to say I can just dump it uh, when this information might be very valuable to the tribulation saints or even to the Jew during that period of time. So I would never, ever do that. If I decide, you would just see me not make videos anymore. If I decided that, I just don't have any more to give, I would just stop making videos, but I would never shut my channel down. I would never dump a single video. I am not ashamed of a single video I have made. I am not ashamed of a single date, high watch date that I said this might be it and it wasn't. I'm not ashamed of a single one of them. I am not ashamed to tell you that I can't figure it out. I am not ashamed to tell you that God is going to tell you. He promised it. And when God says something, that is exactly what's going to happen. He said, I will tell you in Amos 3:7. He is going to tell us, period. And in Revelation 3:3 is another part of that. He is going to tell us, and we are watching, and we will see it. How is that guy who said, no, there's no pre-tribulation. I no longer believe in that. First of all, what? Second of all, how are you going to feel when Damascus is destroyed? You're going to jump back on board? You're going to bring back all your content? What are you going to do? All those years just flushed down the toilet because you gave up on something with zero evidence, which means you never really believed it in the first place. Wayne, I need your help. What is that? What is that person who's able to do that? Was he a tribulation saint the entire time, masquerading as a bride, never actually believing in his heart? Again, I knew he was works based. I knew that because of the stuff he said, but uh, how does that fit into what we understand? And if it is true that uh, he was never saved, but he will be saved during the tribulation, then what about all the people that died over the last 2,000 years who counted on their works? Are they, I just, SOL, they don't get a chance? That's where I get confused because you almost want to say, and I'm not saying this, but you almost want to say that he is saved from the lake of fire. He is not saved from going into the tribulation. That's what you almost want to say, but I can't definitively say that, and I don't want to. That's something that's been like my brain has gone back and forth on for a very long time, and I just can't quite come up with a definitive answer. And if I do come up with a definitive answer, I am going to piss off half of you. And half of you are going to be so furious. I'm saved, but I don't believe in a pre-trib. I gave my life to Jesus. I'm watching, but I don't believe in it. How are you watching if you don't believe in a pre-tribulational rapture? What are you watching for? I don't understand. So maybe it's just I don't know. I can't figure that part out. So all right, I've probably been on here way too long. My videos are way too long. I am going to work out that timeline and try to make a shorter video of it. I just like coming in here and talking with everybody, and I wish I could do it live. I probably should do something like this live and then go to my phone so that I could answer questions. I might actually do that. I might actually do that. What time is it? Oh, it's 7:30. My wife has to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work, so I can't really do it today. But maybe tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. She works. I'll get in trouble for that if she watches my video. Anyway, we'll chat with you. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and just keep watching, people. Don't give up. What are you doing? Don't give up. I've spent over 30 years watching on and off. I haven't been like every day, you know. I haven't been. I found a timeline. I built it. It took me months and months and months, to build. Actually, years. It took me years to build it, and then I just looked at it and I was like, "But this date doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work." And threw it away. And then I built another one and it didn't work. And I threw it away. And so this one here works. There isn't a single verse, not one single verse that I find that will contradict this timeline. So anyway, let me get off of here. I will go live. Thing is, tomorrow, what day's tomorrow's Monday? I don't know. I guess I could go. The problem is people are working, right? People are working. I guess you could listen in. I do. I listen to lives all the time while I'm at work. I just get in there, say hello, and then people are like, Repo Man, why don't you answer me? I'm at work. I can't answer you, but I'm listening and I can't hear your comments. So, but maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll go live tomorrow and I can go over this live because I want to get questions and work this out. So, all right. Anyway, let me get off here. Did I say like, comment, share, subscribe? Go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody. And accept the Lord into your heart. Man, you're out of time. You are so out of time. And don't jump ship now. What are you, crazy? Are you kidding me? You haven't seen the Antichrist. What are you doing? Don't jump ship. Don't dump your content. It's important. It's not for you. You weren't making these videos for us. The bride, I'm not making any of these videos for the bride. The bride might be the ones watching it, but they're not for the bride. They're for the tribulation saint. You got to know what just happened. And I'm here to tell you what just happened. You didn't make it. And now it's your turn to start watching. And all of these videos that we made, now is the time to study them. Study them and if I'm right, let's say I'm right. First of all, Amos 3:7 will be God. We'll confirm that, right? But let's just say that it's May 14th. You can do your math from there. It's that simple. It's so simple for you to do your math from there. So it'll be something else. And then you've got all of us out here. We've got your back. We're supporting you. We're for you, Tribulation Saint. We're not against you. We're not angry with you. You didn't make a you made a mistake, but you didn't. It's not unto the lake of fire mistake. Okay, you counted on yourself and you messed up. But now's the time to give up all that garbage because you didn't do anything. Jesus did it all, and he was proud to. He was happy to. And now all you have to do is kneel down and accept him. If you've never believed in any of this stuff and you're watching this and you're in the tribulation, don't get that mark. Don't go near it. You will go to the lake of fire. You are going to die. Do you hear me? Let me make this abundantly clear. You are going to die during the tribulation. Nobody's going to heaven alive. That only happens once, and it is going to happen before any seals are open. So when you see that event take place, know that you're going to die. Now you pray for an easy death. You pray that the Lord takes you to heaven, and you know that he did it all, and there's nothing you can do. So let's I guess we'll pick this up tomorrow during a live. If you guys can make there. I don't even know what time. I'll just come out here and go live. I don't really notify anyone. I just do it and then 1,000 people show up. I don't know why 1,000 people show up, but 1,000 people show up and we'll be all in there and we'll chat. We'll slow the chat down to one comment. One thing I'd like to ask, just as a favor in the comment section, repeating yourself over and over and over again will get you banned. I don't really care if we have a different opinion or a different calendar. I would prefer the discussion take place in Discord. We have special rooms for that. If you're a flat earther, come into the Discord. We have a room for you. You can go in there and prove your point till you're blue in the face. It's not a salvational issue, so I don't care about it. Being in there, I don't have an Antichrist room. I'm sorry. I don't have an atheist room. Sorry. I don't have rooms like that. I don't have a Muslim room. I don't have a Catholic room, but I do have rooms for discussion, change my mind, do stuff like that, and go in there and be nice to one another. I mean, we all have different opinions. I've got people in there making their own calendars, telling me how wrong I'm in, how wrong I am in my own room. And it's okay because it's not a salvational issue. We just have and honestly, we're all coming to right now is the rapture, no matter whose math you're looking at. And I'm right, of course, and I'm wrong. I had to say that, but I couldn't keep a straight face. But at any rate, we're all still coming to 32 AD. Yeah, Jesus went to the cross in 30 AD. From our perspective, it would be 31, but because of that, this is 2024, but we think it's 2025. Same thing. It was 30 AD, but we think it's 31. Same thing. So anyway, let me get off here. We'll go live tomorrow and discuss that. And I don't even know. Can I? Oh, participants. I wonder if I can add participants. How do I do that? Ooh, invite. Hold on a second. Copy link. All right. So yeah, I believe I can add people in here while I'm in here. I don't know how many, but that might be fun if you show up and you're 100% on my side and believe I'm absolutely correct and everyone else is wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Now, if I know you, I'll add you in. Even if I don't know you, I'll add you into the thing and we can chat for 5 minutes, give everybody a chance if I can figure out how to do it. Oh, I can't. Can I go live on? No, I can't go live on this one. It's on StreamYard. I'll go live. I just can't share anything. I don't know how to do it. Lost my permission somehow. I've been bad. So, all right. We will chat with you all again tomorrow in the live. And we'll look forward to seeing you there. I'll try not to do it during Mark Allison's live because I am not missing out on all the cute kittens and puppies in his lives. I love those things. Love prayer time in Mark Allison 88's videos. So, all right, we will chat with you all again later.